Well, thanks again for joining us today. My name is Megan Garmers, and I'm with the Brattle Masterclass. So we're going to talk today about the top tips for you to be a social media master and growing your Instagram account. So if you haven't already, make sure that your video and your microphone are on mute and off for the video so that you can see everything clearly and nothing's going to get interrupted for you. In terms of the chat function, you are welcome to enter any questions that you have there. Happy to answer any questions that you have. During the presentation, I might not be able to stop right away and answer them, but of course, feel free to enter them so you don't forget, and I can answer them at the end. If you have any issues or technical things, just go ahead and drop those in the chat as well. And we are going to get started. If you guys want to introduce yourselves, it's great to know where everyone's from. You can put your Instagram handle and where you're from in the chat. Introduce yourself to everyone, and then if you are interested, you can follow other people who are here learning as well. All right. So we're going to get started today. I think one of the most confusing things about social media can be just really understanding how it works and what you're supposed to be doing, because there's a lot of confusion, and there's certainly a lot of misinformation. And I think that sometimes when it comes to the algorithm, there can be a lot of outdated information, so you never quite know what's true and what's working, and if it's working for you, and how you should be engaging or not engaging, what the rules are, because those rules of engagement seem to change almost on a daily basis. It is important to make sure that you understand kind of what's going on, a good lay of the land. So even if things start to change, you understand what your best practices are going to be. And that's going to really help with your growth. When it comes to understanding exactly what you need to do, it really comes down to your business. And if you haven't already, I know not last week, the week before, we had a webinar on your ideal client. If you missed that, you are able to sign up for it and get the replay if you don't already have it. If you didn't join and get the replay from last week, go ahead and just let us know. You can send an email to Denise, and she can send you the information, get you registered, and you can review that as well so that you're all on the same page. Okay. All right. We are going to get started here. Oh, hold on here. Okay. Let's make sure that we can let people in if they are coming in late. Okay. Can everyone see everything okay and still hear me? You can type it in the group chat, let me know. But we're going to be learning about the top tips for Instagram marketing today. So again, my name is Megan Garmers, and with the Brattle Masterclass. Great, sound is good. And we are going to be learning all about Instagram, the best ways to grow your Instagram account. So I always like to start with a quote. Steve Jobs clearly is a visionary, and when it comes to all things tech and cutting edge, he certainly was on the forefront. So one of the things that he had to say was master the topic, the message, and the delivery. And I think when it comes to not just what you're doing in your business, but how you're doing it and how you're delivering it, those are important qualities to make sure that are really clear, crystal clear in your mind, so that you know exactly what you need to do with laser focus. Again, my name is Megan Garmers. I'm with the Bridal Masterclass. Also have another business, MG Hair and Makeup. We're the oldest and largest agency for on-site services for hair and makeup. And the Bridal Masterclass, we're here to make sure that you can have all the resources and information to be able to reach your business goals, whatever they might be, and help kind of declutter and demystify a lot of the information that's out there. So today we're going to talk about the top tips. So the 6 top tips to grow your Instagram. First, we're going to talk about why followers are important and also why they're not important. We're going to talk about how hashtags work. There's a lot of confusion around that. What's better than likes? How to use your highlights and your Instagram stories. Understanding insights. This is a big one, and it can be its own webinar. We might do one later. It can get very intense, but we are going to go over insights for your Instagram. And then new followers. Now, what? Understanding what to do with people once they do follow you and what not to do. So, we're going to start out with why followers. So, why are followers important? When are they important? Are they always important? And the answer is they're not always important. So why don't you want more followers? Most people think that's kind of the point of Instagram, is just to gain more followers or gain more likes. But unfortunately, followers, the number of followers and the number of likes, they don't always translate into dollars for your business. And at the end of the day, you're in business to be able to make a profit, make money. It's not just a hobby. So understanding what you need to do to make sure that you are reaching the audience you want to, that they are engaged, and that you can turn them into customers are going to be going into your funnel. That's what's really important. So yes, followers can equal eyeballs. Why are they great? Well, if someone's following you, in theory, they have the ability to see your posts, your information in their home feed, right? Once you go on Instagram, on the left side, the home button there, you'll see, whoever it is that you're following, and it's going to start, it seems arbitrarily, but it's not. They do have an algorithm. And so based on many different things, we're going to talk about a lot of those later, but you're going to see not a chronological posting of what's being posted. You're going to be seeing information and posts based on what Instagram, their algorithm, says is the best, the coolest, the most engaged with, not just necessarily the most liked. So it's a great way, because a lot of people, first when they go on Instagram, first thing that pops up is their home feed, and it's easy just to kind of start scrolling, right? So it's a nice way to be able to get in front of people. They don't have to do a whole lot to see what it is that you're posting. So if they're following you, it's good, because obviously they can have that opportunity, but that doesn't mean that they're always going to see everything you post. So that's another important thing to remember. Just because they're following you doesn't mean that they're always going to see what you're posting. And so understanding that followers are great, but it's certainly not the be all end all, especially with the algorithm. Generally, if they're going to follow you, they have an interest in what you're posting, right? So either they know you already and they are interested in what you have to post, say, comment, provide information on, and or they are really interested in things that you are going to be doing, offering, right? So it could be that you have frienders, other people in the industry who are also taking care of couples who want to follow you and support you. And then you might also have couples, right, who are interested in what you have to offer. They like all the inspiration that you're posting in terms of content, and that's really great. So those are reasons why they're going to follow you. But there's going to be different reasons why followers are going to follow you. Theoretically, in general, it is because that there's an interest. However, when it comes to some followers are really just interested in more followers for themselves. So if you've ever seen the hashtag follow for follow, or if there's someone that you didn't necessarily know, and it seems like an influencer, they have a lot of followers, and all of a sudden they start following you, you go to see who it is because you don't know. And they have a ton of followers. It seems like they're very popular. And it brings you back to high school where the popular kids are interested in you. And then they send you a message and you get very excited and you look at it and it says follow for follow, or please follow me back, right? Those types of accounts are generally ones that you're not going to want to follow. And the reason being is that they are using that to try to gain followers, but not necessarily for engagement. They're not really that interested in what you have to offer. They're just more interested in getting more followers and seeming more popular. So that's not going to necessarily help you in terms of why and what Instagram is supposed to do for your business, right? In terms of hashtags, it's another way that eyeballs uh, who don't follow you can be able to see what it is that you're posting, what you're about, what you have to say. So there's hashtags. They can also find you on the Explore page, which is the second to the left tab on the bottom icons. And if you ever tap on that, so if you have your phone, and I'd encourage you to grab your phone so that you can follow on Instagram and kind of see exactly what I'm talking about on your own account, on your own feed. On the Explore tab, right, you're going to see a ton of different posts and stories and video and all sorts of things, right? That's curated based on things that you've liked, things you've commented on, accounts that you've engaged with, right? Accounts that you might follow or not follow. All of that is just curated, and it's based on, again, their algorithm in terms of what other accounts are liking those accounts, what other accounts are commenting and sharing, saving those posts or stories. Instagram then says, this is a great post. This is a great story. Other people are going to want to see it. You're going to want to see it. And so they put it on the Explore page. So depending again on how you're going to be using hashtags, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, that can definitely help get your post, get your account, get your business in front of other eyeballs, which again, the entire point of Instagram is marketing. It's advertising, and it's using that as a platform to be able to promote your business and grow that business. So when it comes to hashtags, right, you have searched and followed hashtags. So if you don't already know, in terms of hashtags, you can actually search out the hashtag. So on the top search bar, you can type in a hashtag maybe you want to research. You can type in hashtags and you can follow the hashtag, which means that just like following an account, posts that use that hashtag are going to show up in your home feed. In terms of stories, same thing. If you notice when you go onto the Explore page, you're going to see some kind of, it looks like a story. It's vertical. It's a longer format in terms of, taller format in terms of posts versus the format. And so you're going to see those are stories. And then also you have the Discover and the Explore page itself. So some people call it the Discover page, some people call it the Explore page. And as you scroll down, you're going to see more and more information. And again, it's going to continually be curated for you that way. There's also options, if you're looking at an account and it has suggestions, those are also other things that Instagram does to keep you engaged as a user, keep you kind of connected with other accounts that maybe you didn't know existed that are similar to the account that you're looking at. So there's a lot of different ways that Instagram uses all of those aspects, the posts, the stories, the hashtags to keep you in front of different users, but also to connect you in different ways. And then when it comes to other options of getting in front of people, you have what's called kind of the other category. And oftentimes that's a way of explaining how other people kind of stumble on your account. So that might mean that they found you tagged, right, on another account. Someone tagged you because you worked on a wedding with them or a styled shoot with them. Perhaps they went to your profile and they saw kind of your profile and then they were going to different posts, right? So then they're seeing the different posts, but they were already on your account, but they got to your profile in a different way. So there's all sorts of ways that different eyeballs can kind of get to your account. Some of them are going to be followers and some aren't. But the most important thing is not actually if they follow you, it's going to be if they are engaged and interested in your content. So making sure that just like how, years ago, a website was absolutely the most important thing because it provided all this information, hopefully drew you in. Your Instagram is much more like that now. And remember that not all followers are equal, right? You're on Instagram, like we just said, to be able to grow your business and market that. It's not necessarily a popularity contest. It's really about making sure that you're targeting the audience that is going to be most interested in you, and that you can, number one, get in front of them, but number two, let them know that you are what they're looking for to solve whatever it is that their pain point or problem is. And with that, we're going to talk about your 9 grid, but also your 3 pillar strategy. So I'm not sure if any of you already know what a 9 grid or 3 pillar strategy is, but you'll have this in your workbook. We'll send it out. There's 3 main messages that you want to think about when it comes to your 9 grid strategy. And 9 grid strategy refers to the first 9 posts that show up on your profile. So if you go to your profile on the right hand side, the right icon at the bottom, it'll show your profile, and it's going to show the top 9 right posts. And those 9 posts are very telling, right? You also see the highlights. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. You also see your bio, and you also see your profile photo. But those 9 photos really give a clear snapshot of what your business is all about. So making sure that those 9 photos, not just the captions, but the photos themselves, are telling a brand story, right? That message is clear so people can easily understand what you offer, what you're about, who you serve in one quick look. So thinking about those 3 messages, right? You can think about 3 different types of services or products you offer. You can think of 3 different types of people that you serve, 3 different types of clients. You can think of 3 different ways you provide solutions, right? It can be a myriad of different things. So I want you to think about what those 3 messages are. I worked with a coaching client who owned a bridal salon, retail store, and her 3 main messages were that she sold bridal gowns, wedding dresses, bridesmaid, right, gowns, and she did alterations. Those are the messages that she wanted to get out there. So those were her 3 messages. And then from those 3 messages, we created 3 different examples or types within each message. So the first, if I remember correctly, it was she had photos of real brides, right? The next was real brides kind of, showing they were in the little behind the scenes. They were in the store. They had chosen their gown. They had a nice little sign, a placard, and it says, "I said yes to the dress with," and it had the name of the salon, right? And then the third was, kind of different inspiration photos from the designers that she carried, right? So it was more like a stock photo, but it was photos from the designers, not photos that she produced herself. So that was all part of message 1. Those were the 3 types. So for message 2, she had for bridesmaids. So again, she did real kind of professional photos, but real wedding parties that all had these different gowns. And then she also had kind of wedding parties that were in the shop when they all came in, and she gave them champagne and they did this whole thing. Obviously now with social distancing, it's a little bit different. So I'm assuming that her change towards that is going to be what she does when these individuals come in and how she's going to be doing that differently. And then the third was, in terms of them, those different bridesmaids dresses, what she offered as far as designers and what those gowns were like. And then for the third message, it was the alterations, right? So she had a photo, one of her photos was her sewing, right? And she was sewing alterations for a gown. I think she was taking it in, kind of, showing exactly what she does in terms of that. Another one was her fitting someone, and then another one was, it was actually, the gown was way too big, and and then she's peeking out from the other side of, so it was bride in front in this gown that was too big, and then she was peeking out, and then when you swipe as a carousel, it was the bride in the gown that fit. So those are things, again, different types, and you can do different types in terms of the actual post itself. So if it's a photo, is it going to be a carousel, or are you going to have people swipe through? Are you going to have a video? Is it going to be a boomerang, maybe something that again, it's engaging, but it's not over the top. It's not something long that they have to watch. Or you're going to do an IGTV. Maybe you're going to do an explanation video. She could have done that for maybe the alterations, or talked about the overall process of finding a gown, right? Or the designers that she carried, or why she carried them. There's a lot of different ways that you can do this. And so I want you to think of those three main messages, and then also the different examples or the types. The types and the examples don't always have to be exactly the same, but you want to make sure that you are conveying, again, the same message in different ways so that people can see themselves in whatever it is that you're posting. And there's different ways to engage. So if someone wants to see everything just in front of them as one snapshot, or if they want to go through individual item by item in terms of your posts, and they want to watch the video, they want to go through the carousel, they're looking for inspiration, or they're looking for how that gown maybe looks in person, right? Without before going into the shop. Those are things that they can do and be able to do so all on your Instagram in those first 9 posts. So you want to make sure that that's a really clear branding message. Overall, for the entire 9 grid, you also want to make sure that it looks like it fits together. So some people really like the light and airy photos. I'm sure you've seen them. They're very blown out, very, very light, and it looks very delicate. And then some are going to be a little bit more dark and moody. Maybe they have more kind of earth tones, or they have really dark, vibrant colors in their photos, right? Maybe there's a little bit of a mix, but overall, again, you want to make sure that it's telling a story, it's telling your brand story, because it needs to speak to your ideal client in a way that they can see an overall branding message, as well as individual messages that meet them where they're at and solving the problems that they're having. So we're going to talk about hashtags. Hashtags can be very confusing sometimes, and people don't understand exactly, should you use all 30 hashtags? Some people say you don't need to. Others say, why not? When it comes to hashtags, understanding what you're using, why you're using it is important. And I think the easiest way to think of it is like SEO, right? For your website, you have an SEO strategy. So for your Instagram account, you need to have a hashtag strategy. You need to know what you're going to be using for keywords to get in front of individuals who you want to see about that post. So it's like the same thing as keywords. So thinking again on what individuals are going to be using to search up what you have to offer. So if you don't already have your hashtag strategy in place, you want to do some research, right? So first of all, what hashtags to use? Do some research on your competitors, right? See what hashtags they use. Make sure that the research that you're doing, again, is focused on your competitors in terms of your ideal client. Just because you are a wedding planner doesn't mean all wedding planners are competitors to you. Some might be focused on very large scale events, and some might be a little bit more focused on smaller. Some might be doing more of a kind of boho bride, very relaxed vibe of a couple, lots of pampas grass, and someone else might do lots of ballroom weddings that are very, very specific and take a lot of effort in terms of changing a boring ballroom into a jungle, or into this opulent kind of almost museum looking event, right? They're going to be very different. And so understanding again where you're researching, that's going to be important, because if you don't already have an idea of who your ideal client is, it's going to be really hard to know which hashtags you want to use so that you're not wasting those opportunities. So what do they use? What do your competitors use? What are most popular? So really having, again, keeping a spreadsheet if you're into spreadsheets, otherwise keeping a list on maybe a notes app, and making sure that you know exactly which hashtags are the easiest. I like to keep them on a note in the notes app, so that it's all there and I can just copy paste It's a really easy way to do it. And I have different sets of hashtags that I use for different types of posts. That's also very helpful as well. Some of them are going to be the same, some are going to be different. You need to know what it is that you're going to be using it for, and with the photo, what it is that you're trying to show. One of the things that Instagram does is they do monitor whether or not those hashtags are appropriate for the photo that you are using or video. So if it doesn't match, it's a big red flag. They also have what they call banned hashtags, shadow banned hashtags, and you can actually kind of get in trouble with Instagram. Your post might not do as well if you're using any of those shadow banned hashtags. And it's crazy because you wouldn't even think about exactly what that is. So thinking about things like Valentine's Day, beauty blogger, um, Insta influencer, right? All of those, even like follow for follow, some of those have been shadow banned. Um, it's really important to make sure that it's the hashtags that you're using are really, really honed in to what it is that you want people to find out about you and what they're going to be searching, right? Because if most people aren't just going to search, wedding, and if you're posting something that isn't really clearly a wedding, it's going to be really difficult for Instagram to continually say, yes, this account produces great content that is related to weddings, right? So make sure that you understand what's popular in your category as far as those posts and the types, and also what's going to be a little bit more niche, more specific for you. What do your ideal clients, what do they search? What do they follow, right? When you type in a hashtag, and if you type in something like wedding planner, right? You'll see, it'll say underneath in kind of light gray text, it'll say, so-and-so follows this hashtag. So you'll also see that if it's a popular one and other people are following, there's a lot of people following it might be a popular hashtag and one that you want to follow as well, and also one that you want to use, right? So again, this is all part of research. So it's easy to get lost when you first get into Instagram and just kind of like veer off and you're not sure why you're there anymore. But try to stay focused. Understand that you're there to do that research so that you can get that information to be able to use it. The tricky part about the research is that it does change. And so you're going to want to go back in and relook at all of these things on a regular basis. I'd say maybe on a monthly basis, kind of have a good sense of what's going on in the world, how things are changing, obviously, with things related to the pandemic, what's closed, what's open, what's reopened, what's paused. It's going to change a lot of popularity and interest in certain hashtags. So you're going to want to make sure that, again, you are really on top of what's going on. So you're always optimizing the hashtags that you're going to use. When it comes to the most relevant, right, and I want you to all kind of, if you're on your phone, so type in a hashtag in the search bar on Instagram and click enter or continue, and you're going to see it's going to say top and recent, right? It's going to have other hashtags that are related, but it's also going to have the top and the recent search results. So the top is what's naturally going to default to show. And those are the top kind of liked, engaged with posts for that hashtag. If you go to recent, that's going to be the most recent posts about that hashtag, that use that hashtag. You want to check out both. So start at top, and you want to look at, maybe the first 9 or 10, 20 photos, right? Those posts. You want to tap on each one of those. You want to see who is posting, like who are the top contributors to that hashtag, how many likes, how many comments, what types of comments, and when it was posted, right? You're going to do the same thing for recent. Now, the reason is this: you want to understand a few things. One is, are there major players in that hashtag game specifically, right? Are there certain accounts that are most popular when looking up wedding planners, looking up Atlanta wedding planners, right? Who are the most popular ones? How many likes do they have? And how often and recent are those posts? Some hashtags are kind of retired. They might have millions and millions of posts, but a lot of people aren't really posting to them recently. So by using that, it's not going to necessarily help you because people aren't really looking for that anymore. So you want to make sure that the hashtags, again, that you're using are going to be important now, not just previously. You also want to make sure that in terms of what people are looking at now, again, as far as information, how often are people using that hashtag? Is it so often that your post is literally just going to be a blip on the initial kind of search results for recent? You want to make sure that you're optimizing your time kind of in the sun there. And you want to also make sure that those hashtags, you're not going for the biggest hashtags. Otherwise, it's literally not even, it's milliseconds that you might be showing up, right? So for posts, you want to make sure that you're doing up to 30 hashtags. They don't allow more than 30. And you want to target, I'd say between 5 and 70,000 for the number of posts. And so if you're typing in the search term, the hashtag in the search bar, and you'll see all of the options that kind of come up, you'll see the number of posts next to it, right? Those are, again, important things for you to note so that you're always keeping on track. Okay, how popular is this getting? Is it getting to be a really popular hashtag? Or is it something that people are really specifically looking for and there's not that many people using those hashtags? Because obviously you want to maximize your real estate when people are searching for that hashtag so that they see you. Same thing when it comes to stories, except it's flipped. So you get up to 10 hashtags, not 30, up to 10, and you want to actually target the larger numbers, so the millions of posts. Because when it comes to stories, right, it's easier to get in front of people if they're already just kind of mindlessly watching story after story after story, and they can look at yours as well. When it comes to using the hashtags, right? Some people for the post, they like to put it in their first comment. Instagram oftentimes will count that as engagement because it's in a comment. That's something that you can think about using. It is 30 in total. So make sure that if you used hashtags in your caption and then you put additional hashtags in the comment, it's 30 total. So make sure that you're counting those up. As far as the stories go, doing, again, 10 up to 10 hashtags. Some people like to hide their hashtags. Instagram for a while was not really promoting stories that used hashtags that were being hidden. So sometimes you can change the color to kind of hide it. Again, Instagram for a while was not really promoting that. Different ways of doing that, either pinching it down to make it really small, or else making it, again, the same color as the background so people don't see it. There's a lot of different ways that you can, again, kind of use the hashtags to be able to get in front of people, like a keyword, but not necessarily showing them, hi, I used these keywords to get in front of you. So we're going to talk about likes now. And then likes are definitely something that, again, Instagram, Facebook, any social media platform, starting out, likes always seem to be the top thing that people would want. But the longer that any platform is in play, engagement is the key. Their goal as a business, as a platform, is to get the people who are using it to stay on it as long as possible, right? They want you to engage. They want you to enjoy what you're doing on there. If you're searching for something, if you're commenting and connecting with people, right? Whatever it is that you're doing on there, they want that engagement. They want it to continue. So think about how you can encourage people to comment, save, and share your post or your story, right? There's lots of ways in terms of stories. You can do quizzes and polls. You can have people ask questions. You can post answers. There's a lot of different engagement kind of options. And if you go into your stories, the first thing that kind of comes up as an option for, if you go to the little smiley face, the GIF icon, it'll have options for polls or for quizzes or questions that you can ask. So there's a lot of things that way that you can choose for engagement. But when you're doing a post, you want to make sure it's a clear call to action, right? Your CTA. So what are you asking people to do? Are you asking them to double tap to like it? Are you asking them to comment, to DM you, to share this, to tag someone in the comments, right? What is it that you'd like them to do? And then why is that important, so that you can really make sure that they're going to A, do it, and B, that they're going to do it not because they're necessarily getting something, but because they want to, right? A little bit more altruistic motivation there. So make sure that your comments are connecting, and always make sure that you're replying, right? So if someone's commenting, you want to reply to their comment and say, hey, thanks so much, or absolutely, right? Make it conversational. You don't want to make it seem like it's a labor, but you also want to make sure it is clear that you've read it, that you're engaging. Maybe you ask them another question, or you put an emoji that kind of shares a common emotion of what they're posting about or what they commented about. In terms of the comments, make sure that it's 4 words or more, right? That's how Instagram really counts engagement. If you can put 4 words or more, they're saying, hey, this post, this person, this account is worth showing other people. So, if someone asks a question like, they're showing like a cake, wedding cake, and you can say, nice, that's not really engagement. Or you post an emoji and it has the heart eyes. It's not really engagement. If you take the time to put 4 words, and 4 words really aren't that much, right? And you could say, I love that icing. It looks too good to eat. Or I love how you created the sugar flowers to look just like real roses. I can't tell the difference, right? Obviously those are way more than 4 words, but there's different things that you can do where it's a conversation, the same way that you would comment and have a conversation with a friend or another friender. You can put that in a comment. That's going to help them, but it's also going to help them connect, right? It's going to help boost their post, but it's going to also help them understand that you care. And that's a really great way to understand, again, how to connect with people even who aren't following you yet, right? Going to their account, and it's not just follow for follow. You're not just following them and that's like a blanket thing, but you're actually engaging with what they're posting, right? So commenting on their posts, liking certain posts, asking them questions about that. How did you do that? That's amazing, right? Emojis are great, but they're not necessary. Making sure that you're using them, but specific to an emotion, right? It's an emoji. So you need to make sure that that emoji is carrying the emotion of what it is that you're trying to share and convey. When it comes to the conversation, you want your comments to really continue that conversation. You don't want it to just be like, again, a heart eyes. That's there's no continuation of conversation. That's just an affirmation. You want the conversation, obviously back and forth, to be continued. So replying to the comments allows you to do that. Even if you're replying to someone who didn't actually type out a long comment, right? If they, let's say that you posted a picture of a wedding or couple, right? And they post a heart emoji. If your reply is you're just liking their comment versus if you are posting another heart emoji or maybe a kiss face emoji, or if you say, thanks so much, I appreciate your support, love you, right? That's an engagement comment there. That is a much more kind of connecting statement that you're making, so that they can then take that and be like, wow, this vendor, this person, this business they're invested in what I have to offer, and they actually care about me. At the end of the day, social media is all about connection, right? So if you can show that you're connecting with other people, that's going to help you in your business. And if you're authentic with that, that's going to help you even more. So we want to help Instagram help you, right? We want all of the likes to be falling down from the sky on us. Their algorithm, obviously, is their algorithm. They don't post exactly how it works. But remember that they're in business, right? And so they want to engage. They want their customers. They want people who have accounts to spend more time on Instagram. That means that they're going to get more ads, ad money from accounts. Their Instagram's going to get more opportunities, whether that is, again, for larger brands to want to take out different types of partnerships or ads with them, that you can shop on Instagram now. So there's lots of different ways that they can monetize their platform. And if you are helping kind of provide opportunities for people to stay on Instagram longer, they're going to like that better, right? So making sure that what you're putting down, as far as your posts, your stories, your videos, right, it's engaging in a way that's helping Instagram, but it's also helping you, right? um, Again, in their algorithm, the more that your post is engaged with, swiping, commenting, sharing, saving, right, they're going to boost your post and put it in front of more people. It's going to show up in more people's feeds. And it's the, kind of, again, back to that high school mentality of everybody likes the popular kids. So Instagram's algorithm is saying, if other people like it, you'll like it too. That's how they're thinking. So again, make sure that if there's ways of engaging, that's going to be helpful for you and for your account. When it comes to the highlights and stories oftentimes can be confusing in terms of what to post in your stories or what to post in your highlights. So when you're thinking about what exactly you should be posting, it's important to really think through exactly why you're on Instagram in the first place. So if you see the image over here, and you can see the highlight section right there, that's what we're talking about. So these topics are going to be things that you want people to understand you offer, that you are about, that you show. And again, it's about that brand message. So you have your 9 grid, right? The photos underneath of it, but you also have those highlights, and there's texts that you can see with that. So think about, again, what topics, what messages do you want to showcase on your Instagram account and in text form, because you can actually type in an actual heading, right? A highlight heading for what that is, a title. So think about those topics, what it is that you want to show that you do. Think of it kind of like a web page menu, right? So if your website has different pages, it's going to have a home page, an about page. It's going to have, probably maybe services and packages, or if you have products, maybe it's different product pages and different types of products. Maybe it's service information as far as FAQs, or aspects of your customer experience. Maybe it's a contact form, right? There's all sorts of different pages, and each one has a different function. Your highlights need to be similar to a web page in that you're going to break down different components of, again, whether that's your FAQ, highlighting different things, answering questions, giving people a better understanding of who you are, what you're about, and why they are going to want and need what you have to offer. So think of it that way. It can, but it doesn't have to be branded covers. So if you see here, there are specific photos. There's different photos for each of those highlights. I'm sure you've all seen, some people have, kind of these branded photos. They all have the similar, whether it's a similar image, right, an icon, or if it's similar coloring. You can do that. You can do either. If you prefer just one of your posts or one of your stories, as your kind of cover image, you can do that. It's really up to you, and it's based on what your brand message is, right? In terms of why, so why should you do highlights? You want to make sure that it gives people an easy access, right? It's giving them information about what it is that they can expect, why, right? They're going to want to learn more. And also just a better understanding of your business, right? Are you brand new? Do you have nothing to show or offer? Or do you have a lot of different things that you can show and offer them? No one wants to be a guinea pig when it comes to spending lots of money on their wedding. So they want to make sure that the vendors that they're going to hire are going to be individuals who have experience and can show very clearly that they know what to do, they've done it before. So your highlights can be a great way to offer that. Easy access, right? We just said that. FAQs, we talked a little bit about that. There might be specific questions, again, that they have about how your process works. Maybe people have common misconceptions about your business and what you have to offer. Those are all great things that you can put in, again, a highlight, but they're going to all be from previous stories that you posted. So maybe you do kind of a video series, really short. Each story slide is only 15 seconds. So, maybe it's you doing a little selfie video and explaining whether you're at a wedding and you're saying how a common misconception is that, tents are a certain shape or size, but instead we actually offer all of these different shapes or sizes or colors, right? Could be something that simple. Perhaps it's, again, something about a package that you offer, whether travel is included or if there's an extra fee for this, that, or the other. Maybe it's your PPE and, your entire protocol for sanitation. You can do an entire video on that and have it be its own highlight, right? That's a common question that people are going to have right now. You want to make sure that it's easy, right? The whole point of stories and highlights is that you can mindlessly sit there and watch them, spend your time, waste your time, and not have to do anything, and you get something. It's kind of like watching TV, right? But it's going to give you some information that you're wanting to learn about, right? Looking just at the highlight covers and the topics gives you information about what they may want to learn more about. And so understanding what it is that you do have to offer that they could possibly learn about, it's going to give them either more intrigue or else it's going to give them enough information and they're not going to waste their time anymore. So make sure that you're choosing the right topics. When it comes to adding to your highlight, you can keep adding. So you're going to be adding story slides that you previously posted. And if you post new story slides that then go with that highlight, you can actually add additional slides to the highlight. You can add quite a few actually. And so once that highlight is up and running, to add more slides to that highlight, if you tap on the highlight and it's showing you, it's playing the highlight, the bottom right corner, it has 3 dots. You tap on that and it says edit, right? And you can add more slides to that highlight. That is going to push that highlight to the very front, to the very left side. So just remember that if you need to adjust something and make it a certain order, that you're going to want to do that to each of those highlights to then keep the order if that's what you want. When it comes to the postings, it is posted in chronological order. So again, when you're thinking about the highlights and what it's going to look like and what story it's telling, it should have a story arc, that you need to be planning those out in advance. So you're planning out how you want the highlight to be as you're posting those stories, right? Now with the stories, like I said, it's some behind the scenes. It could show your process, right? It could show maybe how you meet with clients now over Zoom, or you have them do an intake questionnaire. You want to show your unique value proposition. Why are you special? Why is what you have to offer at the price point you offer and how you offer it, why is that the perfect solution for your ideal client? And then giving them a reason. So why should they want you over every other vendor that also offers the same thing? Thinking about their customer experience and FAQs, like we talked about, helping them see themselves in your current clients. So again, the coaching client that I was referencing before, she likes to have actual brides who come in and try on gowns, right? and have, they have those photos so that people can see like, oh, just like her, or, oh, she's my body type and she found something there that she liked. So I'm going to go there as well. Or, they really, do a great job of personalized service. They include alterations or whatever the case might be. I'd like to go there, and it seems like they take good care of their customers, right? You want to give them that kind of behind the scenes, the understanding of what to expect for their customer experience journey before they've even set foot in your door. You also want to read their minds and answer those questions in advance. Like I said, millennials and Gen Z, they love it when they don't have to explain themselves, especially over and over again, and you just get it. I mean, who doesn't like that, right? Everyone loves to be able to just feel that their opinions, that their way of thinking and what they like and want, that it's validated. So if you're able to do that, then your business is going to be like their friend, right? Promos and ads, those are like mini commercials for your business. So think about how you can use a story, again, to promote what you're doing. Maybe it is you're featured in a magazine. Maybe you're featured in a post. You can actually put that in your story, right? Maybe you have a new post. Maybe you want people to read the post, so you can put that in your story. Awards, reviews, right? Events. There's a lot of different things that you can add in there. And again, put those into highlights later, but you're going to add those into your stories. And then specials, sales and discounts. So if you have something unique going on right now, maybe you're doing a giveaway or a contest, maybe there's different things that you offer that are only happening right now. It's seasonal, right? To let people know. Putting it in your story is a great way. It's only going to last for the 24 hours. But it also is a great way for people to be able to see it, because sometimes they're going to see your story, but they're not going to see your posts. So make sure that you are using both posts and stories to get in front of people more often and get in front of them in a way that's going to convey that same message. Some people get a little bit, they're a little concerned that those who are following them might get annoyed with what they're posting on their stories. But the great thing is that if you are you're like, oh, okay, I don't want to watch that story anymore, you tap on the right and it goes to the next slide of the stories, right? Or the next story account, the next account and next stories that's in the automatic algorithm feed, right? So you don't have to worry about over sharing or over information or over posting. By doing that, you're just giving them more information and opportunities to be able to see your post that they're probably going to want to see, right? Understanding that they are following you for a reason, right? If they're following you or they're searching for you for a reason, if you are, again, in line with what that reason is, there's no hard feelings. They're fine to see what you have to offer. If it's not, right, if it's not your ideal client, that's where it can be a little bit frustrating. It can be a little bit annoying to see this post over and over when that doesn't fit me. That's not what I want. And I'm sure that you've all seen like any ads when you're looking through Instagram. You'll see these ads and some of them just don't pertain to you, but it keeps coming up and it seems really annoying because you're like, I don't want to buy that. I'm not interested. And it keeps coming up and you're like, oh, right? That's because you're not their ideal client. So think about it in a way that, again, if you have a problem, if that solution comes up right in front of you, that could be really good for you. It could be, you're thankful to learn about that. Think of it that way. So now we're going to talk about insights. So I hope you're all ready to dive into insights. The insights into insights can be a little bit daunting. Like I said, we're going to go over a decent amount, but it really does need its very own webinar because there is a lot to unpack. So we're going to do our best that we can do right now. We are going to talk a little bit about the general insights versus the post insights, all of the different jargon that goes with it, because there's a lot of different a lot of different terminology that might not mean the same thing in every other social media platform. And so it's a little confusing. So we're going to start here. And I wanted to do it so that you guys could see um, using our own account. So you can see for the Bridal Masterclass what that looked like in May. So what is it all? On the left side, you can see that you have the insights. So if you're not already familiar with where to find your insights, at the top left, so going to your home, your profile on the right hand side, not the home feed, the your profile on the right side, the bottom icon, going then to the top right corner, there's three dots. You tap on that and you'll see where it says insights. So you want to go to your insights. Sometimes I think now most of the home profiles, the profile pages, I keep saying home, profile pages, it has an insights button on it that you can just tap on that. But if you don't see that, you can again go to the top three dots, go to insights, and then on the left side, that's what you're gonna see pop up, right? It's going to pop up, usually it starts at content first. Content, it's gonna tell you, in general, like how many people have seen your posts, and it's going to show your stories, how many people viewed your stories. If you have an ad, right, it's going to have information about your ad, or boosting that ad, the post. It's going to have that information. Activity is really kind of the crux of what activity and audience, crux of what you want to unpack. So what we want to unpack today. So when it comes to the activity, right, you want to know who's seeing your posts. What is it all about? So we're going to talk about reach. We're going to talk about impressions, right? On the left-hand side, you can see the discovery. It's showing, okay, so for this week, 17,867 accounts found our posts and stories, right? This reach, right? The reach has to do with how many different accounts were reached, right? And then it's telling you the difference between this week versus the week prior. So it's giving you a comparative analysis. So we had 17,000, right? And that was up 5,500 from the week before. Now, we also have impressions, because sometimes people look at your post more than once. So when they do that, it counts as 2 impressions, not just 1. So here we had 27,863, right? Up 6,400 from the following week. And then you have interactions. So what are those interactions? What are people doing when they look? Do they keep scrolling? Do they like? Do they comment? Do they save? Or do they share? Right? There's 809, do they go to your profile? 809 different actions that people took. So that's telling me that overall, right, how are people really engaging with the posts that we put out there? Do they like the content? Do they like what we have to say? Are we providing information that people are going to want to know more about? So they're going to our profile, to our website, the link in the bio, right? What are they doing with the information that we're giving them? So that's really important. You can obviously, like I said, you can do a boost, right, or an ad for your Instagram as well, which would increase the numbers that you're going to get. So by doing that, it increases the numbers, but you have to choose how you're going to be boosting that post. So that audience, is it going to be something that you're creating an audience for, or is it going to be based on the people who already like your account? That's going to determine a lot of, again, what that reach, what the impressions and the interactions, what that looks like, because based on what you're asking, well, again, whether like, comment, share, save, if you're looking for more professionals, other frienders, or you're looking for more couples to be interacting with it, you want to make sure that you're going to be targeting the right audience, because otherwise the interactions aren't going to help you. So think about that when you're creating an ad or a boosted post that you want. That's going to be really helpful for you. The audience is very straightforward. You know, you have gender, you have age, you have location, geographic location, and also it gives you information on when they are when they're going to be most active. So you know approximately when you should be most on Instagram, whether it is to be posting or commenting, right? So that they're going to be seeing that information more readily. So in doing that, remember the audience, it has to do with who's been interacting with your account, but also who's following your account. So understanding that, again, there could be a difference when you have one account, but you have that for wedding professionals, other frienders, and for couples. So think through what it is that they do on a regular basis in their daily life right now. Clearly, right now it's very different than perhaps normal. However, if they're working, they might be working for the most part throughout the day. They're not checking social media maybe right when they get done with work, though, right? Maybe they were on social media a little bit during the afternoon for a break that they normally wouldn't have done if they were in an office, right? Or same thing later on in the evening. Maybe if they had been going into the office a lot and now they're not, maybe they're not really on social media that much in the evening because they took care of that throughout the day. There's things, again, that you need to consider. Why are they on social media? What are they looking for? And how are you meeting that need? So then you can think about, how is their current life changed? How has that changed so that you're posting at the appropriate times? Don't just take the information and say, okay, they're mostly on between 12 and 3. So I need to post and do things between 12 and 3. They might be on then, but maybe that's when they're scrolling. And that's not when they're actually taking action. Maybe you want to target their 6 to 9 time frame, or maybe their 9 to 12 time frame, first thing in the morning. Think again about who your ideal client is so that you can really hone in that messaging and when and why you're going to be posting and engaging them. For discovery, right? That's how people are finding you. That's an important piece of information just for you to be able to understand. Okay, so Sunday there's a huge engagement. Why was that? Right? Was that because Monday people were maybe it was Memorial Day and people were going to be going to family and friends, and they were doing other things, social things. So the Sunday before was kind of their down day, right? So think again about what it is that is going on that week and how you're going to be planning out your posts and your stories so that you're engaging with them in the right way and enticing them to be able to look at your information. And then evaluation. Obviously, you want to evaluate every post. So on the right-hand side, the post insights, it tells you how many people liked your post, commented, shared your post, and this is important, as well as saved your post. Did they save it for later, right? Is it something that they're really interested in? The share, the save are actually really important when it comes to the algorithm because those are max engagement qualities of a post. How many people have visited your profile after looking at that post? How many people were reached, right? The interactions, how many people went to your profile versus went, to your website, your link in bio. And then in terms of discovery, again, if you're looking at each post, and if you are not sure where the post insights are, if you tap on one of your posts, right, and you see the insights at the bottom, it says insights. If you tap on that and you push it up, right, you're going to swipe that up. This whole right-hand side of the image right here where it says post insights, that's going to pop up and you're going to see all of that information. Understanding that it has to do with that specific post. So seeing, okay, so 987 accounts were reached. 40% of those people weren't following us, right? That's important to note. So then you look, okay, well, the reach was 987, the impressions were 1052, right? Which means that maybe someone didn't engage the first time, but they engaged the second time they saw our post. How many of it was from their home feed? 610. How many were from hashtags? 372. How many from our profiles? That means that they were already on our profile. They were there for a different post maybe, or they looked us up and then they saw this post. So they got to the post from our profile, from our main account page. And then other can be we were tagged in something. Other can be maybe they were, on a story and we were tagged. However it is that you want to kind of figure out what the others are. It doesn't give you a lot of information, but it does tell you that there are other ways, right? And how people are going to be finding you. Clearly from the home feed and the hashtags, those are two really important spots, but then also profile. I think profile is really important too, to make sure that it's engaging enough. So if someone's there, they're like, ooh, that was a great post. I wonder what that's about. Or that's a really cool picture. I wonder what that's about. That's how you want to, again, engage with your audience so that they're going to want to engage with your account more. So now we have new followers. Now what are we going to do, right? What do we do with them? Not sure. Well, first of all, you need to make sure that you're engaging, right? So what are you going to do? You're going to be a friend. When it comes to being a friend on social media and engagement in general, I think it's something that sometimes we freeze up, right? You probably all have a good circle of friends, right, in real life that you're a good friend to and they're a good friend to you. And that's important to remember in terms of, and even kind of analyze in terms of how you're engaging with other vendors, right? Being a good friend, being a good friender is very much the same in terms of what you're posting, how you're commenting, the way that you'd be texting maybe a friender, adding those comments as a comment. It's not a text, it's just a comment. But those are the types of interactions that you're going to want to really have to engage in a better way. So with those new followers, you want to go to their account. You want to check out their stories and their posts. You want to show them that you care about what it is that they have to put out there. Say, do, right? Love those flowers. This arrangement was killer. Or I would have never thought to put those together. Or how did you get that to hang and balance that way? It looks like it's magic, right? There's so many different things that you can, again, do. One, to compliment them, but also two, to show your support. And as a friend, those are some key things that you want to do. Again, if you're going to have that relationship with another account, you don't have to know them and see them in person every day, but that relationship over social, it should be a strong relationship that shows the support. Liking, commenting, DMing, sharing, saving, right? Obviously, all of those things are good. And by doing that, you're helping their account as well. So why? We kind of already went into this, but reminding them you're alive, right? Engaging with an account, and I don't know if you've seen this, but as you engage with an account, the more you like a certain photo from an account and the more that you comment, those posts show up more frequently in your feed, right? So knowing that, understand like, okay, you want to be in front of these individuals as often as possible, and not just those individuals, but individuals like those accounts, so that Instagram is like, oh, you're popular. We want to show your post that you use that hashtag in front of other accounts who are very similar to the accounts that engaged with you, right? Helping Instagram help you this way allows for you to get in front of more accounts that are going to lead to hopefully more business. Remind them that you care. So it's important to be doing this engagement to remind them that you're alive and that you also care. You care about them. And you should actually care. I know that seems kind of like a duh comment, but this should not just be a tit for tat, what's my checklist, and it's definitely something that we talk a lot about when it comes to allyship, with the Black Lives Matter movement, and any type of racial justice, systemic racism, all of those things, understanding that it's not just a checklist, right? Engagement is no different. It's not just a checklist. It's about having those relationships. There's no checklist that your friends give you of, this is what I need you to do to be a good friend. You just know, and you know deep down how it is that you want to and like to, and specific to that person, engage and show support and love, right? It's going to be the same thing on and through Instagram as your business. You want to make sure that you do not overstock. Little freaky sometimes how some people are like always there and you're like, whoa, okay, thank you. Starts to get a little weird. Don't want to overstock people. You definitely don't want to ignore people. So you don't want to just kind of like, oh, I'm so busy. That's not helpful because again, it's not connecting by any means. And you don't want to unfollow after you're following them. You don't want them again to think that you're just having this relationship as, kind of that you're using them to try to gain followers, that you're trying to use them to get in front of other people, right? You want to make sure that you have that authentic engagement with different accounts, and for people to be like, yes, I really actually like your account, your business, because you're great. You're a great human, you're a great business, you do a great job. I love your posts. I think they're engaging, they're funny, they're informational, right? Whatever it is that you're posting, those are things that you want to make sure that you're doing so that it's authentic, it's out there, and people have a good understanding of why they want to continue that engagement, not just do it once and then be done. So another individual from Apple, Jonathan Ive, he was the chief design officer there, since moved on. But he says, it's very easy to be different, but it's very difficult to be better. When it comes to your Instagram and growing it, you can create something totally crazy and you can probably get some eyeballs and maybe some followers from that. But that's not necessarily going to get you that long-term growth, that engagement that's actually going to make a difference in your business. Understanding why you're on Instagram, understanding why you're connecting with people, understanding what the platform is for, allows for you to have that laser focus so that you know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and when, to make sure that you don't spend and waste hours and hours and hours on Instagram doing nothing and being like, well, what did I get on here to do again? Right? Make sure that you're understanding how you're going to be better as a business, better serving your ideal clients. How are you using the information that you're getting from Instagram to better your products, your services, right? Listening, using Instagram as a means to listen. What are issues that people are having? What are things that they're complaining about? And then really kind of looking into and doing that research on, whether it's your competitors, whether that's other frienders, people that, in the industry that you want to network with. It's literally that perfect place that you can come and with the right intention and, opportunity, you can really be able to connect with just about anybody. But first and foremost, you want to make sure that it's authentic and you want to make sure that it's really coming from the right place. And once you do that with your business, it just naturally starts to grow, right? People like nice people. And the best way to be a friend, or to get more friends, is to be a friend, right? So if you can be a friend to other accounts, other people on social media, especially on Instagram, they're going to want to be friends to you too. And then therefore your business starts to grow. So let me know if you have questions. Go ahead and type them in the group chat there, and happy to answer any of those. I know that's a lot of information. I think we went a little bit over as well, so I tried to make sure we could give you as much good information as possible. But if you have any questions, go ahead and type them into the group chat. Let me know. How many of you already use your insights on your Instagram account? Anybody? How many of you had no clue what insights were before today? It's okay. There's no judgment. Insights, great. So yes. So one of the things that when it comes to insights, really understanding what it is that's there can be helpful to your business, and understanding I've checked a few times, need to do more consistently. Never done. And honestly, a lot of people are like, oh, insights, that's great. And then you're like, okay, now what do I do? So knowing what to do with that information is important. Like I said, maybe we'll do another webinar. Maybe the next one will be about insights, but understanding what to do with that information is key, because it's like knowing who your ideal client is and then not doing anything about it. Well, if you know that they frequent this business, they like these hobbies, they like to do these things, right? You have to follow the trail, right? It's a problem you need to solve. So figuring out what it is that you're going to do with that information, right, helps you be able to use that information to target those individuals with your business, right? If that's partnerships that you're going to have with other businesses that they already like, that they're already customers of, or maybe it's, again, the time of day that they're going to be on Instagram. Maybe it's the type of post that they interact with. Sometimes you don't know. You just post things. You're like, I don't know if that's a good post. I think so. I followed all of the rules, and come to find out nobody engaged with it. If you don't look at the insights and kind of think through why that was, you're not necessarily helping your Instagram grow, because you don't know what worked and what didn't. It is constantly this ongoing experiment of seeing what works, what doesn't. Do these, again, hashtags, using certain hashtags at certain times of the day, right? Is this going to be helpful or not? Is this putting my post, my information in front of more people or not? Those are things that you want to think about. And again, depending on how it is that you're going to be posting, sharing, putting up your stories or your highlights, that's going to determine then how it is, individuals are going to be interacting with your account in the future. So any questions at all about anything else that I talked about? Any questions about the 9-grid strategy? I know that that's definitely something. It takes a little bit of time. Like I said, it'll be in your workbook, your PDF workbook. So that'll be there, and you can take your time with that. I definitely suggest that you really think through what that looks like for your business, because that's really going to give the most consistent branding message to your ideal client, but also to others who maybe want to work with you and want to network with you and give you clients as well. Okay. Well, if you don't have any other questions, we'll go ahead and finish out here. But there we go. And finish out. If you have additional questions, by all means, you can go ahead and send us an email. Happy to answer your questions. Absolutely. If you have other questions as you're going through the workbook, go ahead and email us. Happy to answer any of those as you have the workbook and you're kind of going through it. Maybe it's confusing, or maybe you're like, that made sense when I was listening to it, and now I have no idea what it was about. That's totally fine. The replay link is going to be sent out to you as well. So same thing. I know it's a lot of information. If there's anything that you need to kind of go back and relook at things or have things re-explained, it's not a problem. That's what the replay link is for. So you can do that. And as I said, if you have questions, by all means, just go ahead and send us an email. We're happy to answer for you. We should have our next topic out in terms of the next webinar, probably by the end of this week. So hopefully if you're interested, you can join us for the next one as well. And again, if you have other questions, we're happy to answer those. We're here for you. We want to make sure that, like I said, that you can really utilize Instagram to the best of your ability, because it's really such a wonderful tool to be able to market your business, get in front of clients, but also be able to network with other like-minded individuals who are in the industry and want to support you as well. So thanks so much for joining. I hope you guys have a great day, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.